Well, hello, good evening. Thanks so much for stopping by. This is Sandi, Suburban Homesteader, Wyoming, Arizona. I have obviously just came from the garden. Look at, I scrubbed my hands and I still have stains. You know when you're pulling weeds and pulling plants and you're harvesting? Because it is that time of the year that it is about the end of most people's seasons. And Xander is in here. Hello, Xander, how are ya? I hope everybody is having a great day. But tonight's topic is the last harvests. Because for us especially, even though the weather has been really pretty spectacular for Wyoming, no snow, we haven't had a frost. Around us has had some frost, but we haven't had a frost. And which is unusual for Wyoming, seriously. But we are about to leave to go back to Arizona. Now, if you haven't seen the videos lately, we are selling our place in Arizona. So I will be back to Suburban Homesteader, Wyoming. It's kind of sad in some ways, okay in other ways. But we're talking about the last of our harvest. A little side note. If you are also friends with Brian at Castle Hives, his live started at 6 o'clock also. Just open another tab on your computer and just flip back and forth so that you can see both of us. He is a good friend of mine. And when I switched to Wednesdays, in my brain, I thought his live started at 7, but they start at 6 o'clock my time. So just switch back and forth. You know, it's an easy thing to do. But I was harvesting tomatoes. I have 2 huge bags. And I didn't even hardly touch them. It was like, why did I grow so many tomato plants? But I'm going to make some V8 juice with them. And so I'm going to dig some carrots, and I have a whole bunch of onions that I've already dug or pulled out. I don't really have to dig the onions. I do have onions still in the ground that I could pull out. I have celery over at the garden. I think I'll just throw some squashes, and I usually just put them whatever's ready into my V8 juice. Xander says freezer. No, I'm actually going to can it. I like canning V8 juice, and I have tiny bits of room left in my freezer. I'm going to have to organize that this winter and just go through stuff and pull out some of the vegetables that are older, give them to our new chickens we will be getting right when we get back from Arizona. So I'll share those with them. But I mean, I have bigger ones in this. I have smaller ones in this. They've just been fabulous. Oh, Nancy's here too. Hey, girl, how are ya? Our treasured home is Nancy. Now, along one of my fence lines over at the community garden, these beans are growing. I didn't plant these this year. I'd planted them last year, but obviously some of the actual bean seeds fell to the ground and they decided to grow. So they are a type of soup bean because I don't grow regular beans. I only grow soup beans. So I did break one open and Angie's here. Oh, look at that. Her peppers are fruiting in the hydroponics. Woo, woo, woo. That's awesome. So I opened one of these bean seeds just because I wanted to show you what they look like inside. And they'll turn more white. They're kind of greenish right now, but they actually turn white. And I am dismantling my community garden. I'm taking the fences down because sometimes we have a rabbit problem. So I'm taking them down because I have decided I am only going to garden at my yard, not at the community garden, which has some great pros. But I just decided it was something I needed to cut back on some. Oh, and Henry Leslie Vermont is here. Hello, young man. How are you? So I loaded my little truck up with fencing because if you want to fence at the community garden, you have to provide it yourself. They don't provide that. And so I pulled all the stakes out. I probably shouldn't have done so much this afternoon. It was about 91 degrees. It was so cold this morning. And I told Joe, well, it's never going to get 90. It's only 70 degrees now. And when we first got up, it was maybe 50. And I thought, oh, it's going to be a good day. It was so hot over there. It was just like, oh my gosh. So I could have harvested way more stuff, but I didn't just because of that. One thing that I have been growing this year are these squashes. And this is a fairly large one. I don't usually let them grow quite this big because if they're smaller and you pick them when they're smaller, I just slice them. I don't peel them at all. And I put them on pizzas. I put them in soups. I put them in salads, all kinds of stuff. So it's a fun, I mean, it's a type of crookneck, but I love the little bumps on it. And I have given away so many of these. Angie, you think you can freeze dry these? I'm going to see Angie this weekend. And so I have a lot of extra vegetables. Oh, how fun. Old Ways Gardening and Prepping is doing a seed swap October 19th. Watch for the registration video. Fun. Fun, fun, fun. Angie says she bets she can. So I'll bring some of those over. And of course I have, oh my gosh. Oh my gosh, it's so heavy. Spaghetti squashes. Like massive amounts of spaghetti squash. Up from one plant. And so, but they last a long time. So I can just put them downstairs in the pantry. It's very cool. Oh my gosh. Look who's here. James Rackert. Sure you don't give me one. I'm giving you zucchinis. I'm giving you tons of zucchinis. No, any of it you want, Jim, just let me know. Because Jim is my brother. He is a gardener expert too. And so if you want some of them, just let me know and I will do that. Angie says that she loves spaghetti squash so much. Me too. It's so much fun. So I'll bring a bunch of these over. Angie's coming down and I'm going over. We're meeting in Rapid City. It's very exciting. And of course I have the dreaded zucchini. Now, this is a small zucchini. And I'd like to tell you that I'm always good at getting them when they're small. Even this one is pretty big to be considered a courgette. But the skin is really soft. And so I can slice it up. I can bread it. I can deep fry it. I can put it on pizzas. I can do all kinds of stuff. And of course, you can make zucchini bread. But I have a lot of big ones. And that's usually what I do with my zucchini bread. Just because these ones I'd rather eat fresh or on a pizza or something, And when you start having zucchinis, they like multiply. That's right. You have to hide when I bring out the zucchinis. It's just so crazy. But one of the most exciting things, I mean, seriously exciting things that I'm harvesting this year. Now, you guys know I grow garlic. I have grown garlic in Wyoming for 19 years. Some of it, the same garlic for that long. But, okay, so here's a little bowl. When I like to grow hardneck garlic. So you should know that first off. There's hardneck garlic and there's softneck garlic. And so it sends up escape and it makes this little flower, right? Well, if you break this little flower apart, you get these little things, and I call them boblets. Let me see if I can get that to see. It's a little boblet, right? And you can make more garlic from this. I think it was 2021. I did a video on how to have free garlic, how to have hundreds of garlic plants for free. And oh, Anne's here. Hi, Anne. How are ya? Thanks for stopping in. So I had gotten that winter. It was probably January I got those of 2021. I got a whole bunch of these from a friend of mine. And I wanted to prove that you could literally do this, because it is a long process when you're growing garlic from the boblets. So when a hardneck garlic grows, it has a scape. This is a scape. And this is where that flower comes from. So it comes up, and then all of a sudden it curls around, and then it will uncurl itself, and the leaves start dying back, and then you know that you can dig up garlic. If you cut these scapes off, you can eat them. You can fry them. You can make pesto out of them. I like to chop them up and put them in the freezer and then just use them when I want to. And I put them in soups and casseroles, scrambled eggs, all kinds of stuff. But I usually cut the scapes off because your garlic will be bigger, right? And so I planted those little scapes from these flowers. And because I live in 2 different places, I grew them that summer in Wyoming. All the garlic dies back here, usually the end of July, first part of August, depending on the season, because every time it's different a little bit. And I can't tell you that every single time we do it on July 28th, because that's just not true. Anyway, so I dug up all my garlic, all my regular garlic, all of these little tiny plants that just had little tiny green stems and leaves coming out. And then I just let them sit in the basement, because I always let my garlic dry in the basement. Well, sometimes I hook them on the clothesline, but for the most part, I put them on tables downstairs in the basement. And when I went to Arizona, I brought a couple of the regular garlics, but mostly I brought these little plants from these boblets, knowing that I wasn't going to eat that garlic probably for 2 or 3 or 4 years. So I let them grow. Oh, Wayne's here. Hey, Nana. Did catch you tonight. Thanks, Wayne. Because I am Nana. A couple of my grandkids, I am Tutu, because that is, in Hawaiian, is grandma. So I grew them in Arizona. When they started to die back, I dug them up. So they have a little bit of dormancy. Sometimes I'd put them in the fridge. Sometimes I'd put them downstairs. So they were a little cooler, right? And then I would plant them in Wyoming again. So remember, I started in 2021. So they're really growing twice a year versus once a year. So this year, when I dug them up in Arizona, they were still alive. The plants are getting much bigger. They were still alive. And it was just like, I'm not going to let them go into dormant state. I'm just going to take them from there. It was the end of April. The soil was workable. And I had them in a bag thing, a box and with a bag, and it was soil. And when it was just a tad bit warmer after we got back, I planted them in the community garden. So they were always a little behind this summer versus my ones I planted in the fall. But they started getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And it was like, I think I get to harvest them this year, right? So it was real interesting. I only pulled up a few of them today. Now, one of them, so you can see how thick the stalk is. But look at, it looks like it's just a single clove. It doesn't look like it's divided. But that's okay. I'll just plant that again, right? But it's very thick, like a leek, which was kind of fun. Godzilla, hello, how are ya? Everybody's saying hi to everybody. Yay! So then I dug another one. And then look at this one. It's got a clove over here. Let me move that's coming off the side. And look at inside. There's all these small leaves that are coming off, like it's growing within itself. So I thought, I think we should cut some open, right? So let me move some of this stuff. Got a cutting board. So here's my cutting board. Okay, so it's big, right? And if you peel back that top, you can see this is where the scape is that gets cut off or broke off. And so if I would have left it, it would have just kept growing and it would curl around. And then when the garlic starts to mature, it uncurls itself. But really, that's a pretty good size garlic, right? So I thought, we got to open this up. We got to see what's happening inside, right? So I thought, I am just going to pull this apart and we can see together, because I didn't want to open any of them without you guys. Oh, Anna's here. And Dale, how are ya? Ann and I are part of Round the Hay Bale. We do a podcast and we do a radio show. So I'm so happy that she's here. Okay, so usually with my big garlic, I usually have 4 or 5 cloves in it. Now remember, these are from boblets, so they have to kind of get used to growing as garlic, right? So we got, I still can't get it apart. I still got to pull more out on the outside. Usually when they dry downstairs, all this outside gets all papery. I don't usually peel them apart before then, unless I'm going to use them right away. Okay, so let's open it up. Okay, so this is what a clove looks like. This is the growth plate right here. And then there's a bunch of roots. It's not really a deep root for how big a bulb it makes, right? Let me see if I can peel. There's one behind itself. So there's this big one, and then there's this one. So that's 2. Let's see what else we can get. See, this has got way more than I usually have of bulbs. It reminds me of a soft neck. Okay, see, that is a good size clove. It's got a good growth plate on it. It's got some roots down there. I'm just peeling that part off. And then there's 2 more. This one's not very big. This one is big. I have to tell you, my room smells like garlic, my art room. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 right now. Now, an interesting thing, but it is grown from boblets, right? So they're not my regular garlic. Like, it was going to grow another scape right here. Isn't that interesting? But there's another clove plus that little clove. So that's 7. That's way more than I usually get. And then there's just this last one. Let me pull this. I think it must be because it's so used to growing so much more than what usually on my garlic does. Look at this. I think I can pull this apart too. Oh, that's a little one. But see, that's a plenty big one to plant too. Because you always want a little bit of this growth plate right here. Because that's where it's going to make the roots. Most people put their hardneck garlic in the north very end of September if it's a cold fall. Oh, otherwise October to the first part of November. You want it to, the soil to be really getting much cooler, the nights to be cool. It's okay if the clove starts to grow a little bit, but you don't want it to grow very much and then go into the deep freeze. I usually put, see, I love that one. Look at the size of that clove. You want, let me pop that off. You don't want it to grow too much. You don't want to see green up above the ground before the snow comes. It's just hard on the garlic plant. And so I like to do end of September, first part of October, because we usually leave for Arizona. Before we started going to Arizona, sometimes I didn't plant them until the first part of November, just because we had good weather and I didn't want them to grow too much. So I'm totally excited about that. It's just garlic everywhere. Seriously, garlic everywhere. I got roots in my drawer. I got my drawer pulled out here. But I'm going to push that to the side, and let's look at this monstrosity. See, this gives me the feeling that I should have separated it more. I thought I was just doing individual cloves when I planted it, but that's not what this looks like. See, it's very large. It's got one coming off the side. It's kind of a mutant. Seriously, a mutant. But look at, it's got a plant here. It's got a plant here. It's got another plant coming out of that plant. Same with this one over here. So I think when I open it up, it's going to have way more cloves in there than I need. So that's kind of crazy. But it's so interesting that literally, if you can get some flowers from somebody, because there's probably, gosh, I don't even know how many little boblets are in here. I don't know, 50. I don't know, 25, 50. So that you can, if you're patient, you can get garlic. So this is my first one I planted was 2021. It's 2024 now. So it took 3 years. I'm okay with 3 years to get tons of garlic. Now, I did get these garlics from a friend. So even though I do know that they're hardneck because they make the scapes, I don't actually know what kind they are. So I'll just name it myself. That's right. Wayne's birthday is tomorrow on Thursday. Oh, Bat cooked a gift of homemade sausage tonight. There was garlic in there. Tomorrow is my birthday. I already knew that Wayne's birthday was on Thursday, though. So happy birthday, Wayne. Make sure you guys all say happy birthday to him, because why not? So exciting. Okay, I got one more exciting thing for you. I got to put this garlic someplace. It's just like the oils are just so powerful. Shut that drawer so I don't get anything else in my drawer. I like planners. I'm a fact girl. Everybody that knows me very, very much, they know that I love facts. That's all there, it's just the way it is. Oh, Sandra's getting new tires tomorrow. Thanks for reminding it's Thursday tomorrow. So welcome. I found this today at Tractor Supply. It was in the clearance section. It was regular $18.99. It was on sale for $14.99, but I had a $10 coupon, or not coupon, rewards at Tractor Supply, so it cost me $4.99. And it is a garden planner, because this is the time of the year I like to start gardening planning. Why? Because you're harvesting all this stuff. You remember right now, okay, this tomato did good. We had a cool or a hot summer. It was rainy or it wasn't rainy. So you know which plants did good in that season. So that's why it's a great time to have a garden planner. Now you can just have a notebook. Lots of years I have just used a spiral notebook, and I have just written all my stuff. Hey, Al, how are ya? Thanks for stopping in. We are talking about harvesting out of our gardens. And I just thought this was just cute as can be. Let me take my receipt out of there. Like, this is the section on Brussels sprouts. So it tells you about Brussels sprouts, how long it takes to grow them, what it looks like, if you should transplant it, if you should start from seed, how many months before the average last frost. And then it has this page over here that gives you do the varieties, where you bought those seeds from, and then it has dates. And you just start writing notes about that. It has been a while, Al, since I've seen you. I so appreciate you coming back in. But there's just like all kinds of vegetables. You know, lots of normal average vegetables that a lot of people grow. And then, of course, it has a section for those vegetables and fruits and herbs that you know, aren't the norm. It's something that you or your family really love. And so I thought this was for $5 I thought was a bargain. And this part doesn't say, it's just and there's my planner for 2025. A lot of times at the end of the season is the perfect time for you to find things on clearance. Go to your garden centers. If you have year-round greenhouses, go to those, because a lot of times they don't just have plants or seeds that may be on sale. They also a lot of times will have books, you know, and either it's a reference book or it's a book that is like one of these, a planner. So I think it is fabulous. Oh, Al says that his new job keeps me at sea for a darn long time. I just got back a couple of days ago, so I'm hoping to make up for lost time. That's exciting, though. And Xander says, Wayne, I'm known for being weird here. I'm crazy for a reason. I got 6 sisters. My house is a zoo of a total of 36 people. Are you in the RV right now? Earlier, I was watching Doug and Shelley's His Way Homestead when I had first got back from the garden. And Xander says, I'm in the RV and the wind's blowing. It's shaking. I'm getting seasick. I thought that was fun. Totally fun. So tell me in the chat, what are you guys harvesting right now? Are you all the way done harvesting? Because some people, depending on where they live, they may be already done harvesting. And I always find it interesting because some people's season, they're still doing their garden all the way into November and December, where usually in Wyoming, we've already had snow. I saw some pictures from 2020, and it was September, about the middle of September, and we had 10 inches of snow. Now, when we get snow in September, most of the time, you got to cover everything up. You put 5-gallon buckets on top of stuff. It's cold for a couple of days, and then it's nice again. But we didn't even have the cold, so I was just so excited. Oh, Anne says that she is harvesting beets, peppers, and to her surprise, a new tomato popping in. That is awesome. Oh, Julie's here. Gardening ends. Migrates. Oh, I can't even talk. From warmish crops to cool. Mine migrates. Okay, I got it. From warmish crops to cool crops, then back again. Because depending on where you live, a lot of people, they planted in the springtime, and then about the end of July, first part of August, they are planting again for their fall cool season, which you might as well take advantage if you have the space to have that continuous supply of food. Because you never know, with our craziness, sometimes I don't even want to listen to the news because it's like, oh my gosh, just shut up. Just shut up, all of you. But, I'm not a Democrat and I'm not a Republican. I'm an independent. And so I look at those two sides and I think our world has gone crazy. So I am just going to garden. I'm going to read my books. I am going to do things to help other people. I'm going to share my vegetables and we will see what we see, But it is already 30 minutes. I'm going to have to let you go. I haven't fixed Joe's supper yet. Julie says that she's been lurking. Wayne says, hey, Sandi, have you ever tried blue tomatoes? I have blue tomatoes growing in my garden right now. Oh, you got 3 as a gift. I do like them. I always have found that you want them almost on that verge of being ripe, but maybe even a little overripe, and I've liked them better. But I have a plant over at the community garden right now, and these ones are, I think it was called blueberry. And so they're more like a round, fairly big cherry tomato compared to like my sun glows. But so good. But mine aren't quite ready because I didn't plant them until I bet you it was the 10th of July when I planted that because it was a free plant. So it is perfect. That's right. Lucky Joe. I'm not sure what we're going to have tonight. I think we actually have a couple slices of pizza left, and I might take the easy route and just heat them up because I have a lot of tomatoes and stuff to do stuff with. Oh, my milk duds are done. Angie has freeze dryer, and I wanted milk duds. I wanted to try them. I wanted to see how they puffed up in a freeze dryer, and I like milk duds anyway. Oh, Anne says she hasn't seen. I'll save you some seeds, Anne, and then you can try them. But I like them. Probably my favorite small tomato. Well, there's a few of them. I do love a sun gold, which is kind of orangish tomato. It's like eating candy. The blue tomatoes are good, the blueberries. And then atomics, which are more shaped like a grape. And they have a lot of different colors when they're ripe. They have orange and reds and yellows, a little bit of purple. And, they're so good. Wayne's ones are a medium size blue tomato. So fun. If you want to save some seeds, I'm always up for trying somebody's tomato seeds. Our blue tomato is really blue. They are like a deep midnight blue. A lot of times, depending on the blue tomato, a lot of times it'll be this deep blue, purplish at first tomato and then green on the bottom. And then as it gets more ripe, it's like this midnight blue. And they are amazing. Oh, see, Angie even thinks their atomics are amazing ones. I think so. Yep, bluish, purplish, but I like them. They're dark colored. But everybody, I'm going to let you go. It's 34 after. Remember, if you know Brian at Castle Hives, his lives are always, usually an hour or so. So just pop on over and see him. I think I have a link someplace in here if I can find it. And there it is right there. Castle Hives, Brian. Learn everything you can about bees. Everybody, I will see you next time. I so appreciate you coming in, spending some time with me. I'll see you next time.